Sometimes you know it's going to be one of those days. You can tell when it's first thing in the morning and Beefy has to borrow Richard's 414 for a spot of hedge trimming. It's not much different in Fermanagh. To get the tall red rocks down the road to the next field, Wang needs to trim a low branch. Though when I say trim, I really mean fell a tree.
On the chainsaw.
Oh no, well, it's either the chainsaw or the harvester gets it. So the chainsaw sits in the harvester all the time. We used to be a wee bit rash, we used to use the bucket, but farmers sort of looked at you with a bit of a cross face when you seen you coming along and just cleaning half a hedge out of it just to get the harvester. Squirt wouldn't like to see a scratch in the harvester. Where's the monitor? Not a JCB.
Wang wanted it for firing just if he'd tell the truth. He'd have threw it behind the hedge so no one would have seen it.
The Moor men aren't faring much better. Donald gives Mark a call to see if there's time to send for the crone mechanic.
Donald? Not so bad.
That's good. Sorry, I was on the floor there. See my conductor sorry, what's happening?
Yeah, why so?
Because like when I'm growing, when you're going to slow down, speed up, just swinging on and allow. Will I try to push it so you come down this evening?
Do.
Because he said he'd do the ceiling to gearbox for if they were done.
Yeah, no, if he could to be grand.
Yeah,
okay, cheers, okay, come on.
His 400 is randomly speeding up when he hits the brakes. But how do you demonstrate that safely? Simples. You cut your own test track. But like all good brake problems, it only surfaces when you really need them, so it'll have to keep for another day. Barry's not having much luck with his 202 either, though it's a much more obvious problem.
The simplest things can stop silage making it even in the best weather. A simple lack of air in a tyre and all stops. The tyre has gone soft because of stone hitting the blade, knocking it off through the tyre. The usual phone call to me local tyre supplier, and there's a van on its way, should be here within half an hour. If a patch in a gator sorts it, hopefully an hour and a half max, we should be on the road again. Okay.
Back in County Down, Neil is loving the convenience the 828 isobus gives controlling the lift and lower of the class moors. But sometimes, Peter says no.
What is she done now?
What is that for?
That's my Isabus. That's working all, that converts the tractor, the mowers take over the Isabus, you know. Not picking up the mowers at all. Let's hopefully bring it up here now. Oh, there we are. See, that works her. That's her on the computer there, nothing to do with the tractor. And if I want to put her to the tractor, go down to my Isabus, that's the tractor. So that takes over this here. This can't be used as a front linkage or anything, you know, or the linkage that takes over. She works off a feed and return. So that diverts it to just the mowers take control of that whole lever, you know, that's what it is. Yeah. We have a Viking round baler, that's all the same, no control box. Evidence in front of you, you know. Like.
A day of flat wheels for the Fermanagh men. Mike puts the Red Rock bogie to good use with a bit of timber jamming the flat wheel up in the air. McDade and Rourke pull in to take up the slack, but it's not difficult to keep up when there's a few hidden gems in the sward. There might be something in there, Squirt. I'm thinking there's something in there, Squirt. No, really, there's something in there, Squirt. Come on now, stop playing with the joystick and get out. I know Rourke should have been out by now, but it's a long walk round the nose of that Valtra. See, I knew there was something in there.
There's our strange thing there now.